There were several moments in my career that I knew that I needed to try something that scared me. One of the things that I was scared about was when I moved with my family to the US. So I left a job, a comfortable job, that I was in with the same company for 10 years. With my entire family, with 4 young children, with my husband, we moved to Denver, Colorado. I didn't know anyone there, and I needed to find a job in engineering leadership. And I was terrified. And even when I started managing, I was terrified. And the first company I actually started in the US is a storage company, and I knew nothing about storage at all. And I had to learn a lot. And that's exactly what happened to my guest today. Lori Crooks did that. And she did it in a world that very few women dare to step in cybersecurity. She applied for a role she wasn't so-called qualified on paper, said yes to the unknown, and now she is the CEO of a thriving security consulting company. So hi everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Limor Bergman Gross, and I'm the host of this podcast, From a Woman to a Leader. This podcast is where we talk candidly with women in tech about career growth, about leadership, and breaking through the invisible walls that holds all of us back. And I want to invite you to tune in, subscribe, and share this podcast with anyone you think it can help. My background is tech. I used to be a software engineer and I grew into engineering leadership positions. And today, for the past 5.5 years, I'm following my mission to support other women in tech and help them grow and succeed. And in the episode today, I talk with Lori Crooks. And as I said, she's a cybersecurity leader and the founder of Cadra. And she built her path from state government auditor to consultant to a CEO. She shares how to break into cybersecurity even without a technical background. She also talks about what it's like being the only woman in the room and how she found her voice and why pushing past fear, even to make videos, is the key to growing your impact. So if you're looking to pivot or to do something that maybe you're scared of, like step into leadership, or you need some boost of courage, I think this episode will show you it's possible to create your own path. So I want to invite you to listen and tune into this episode and share it with anyone you feel is going to be helpful for. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if this episode speaks to you. So are you ready? Let's dive right in. Hi, Lori. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. No complaints.
Good. Glad to hear.
Yeah. And maybe we'll start a little bit with your background. So can you share a little bit about kind of how you started and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. So I went to school in South Carolina and I got a business degree in accounting after several attempts at trying to find a major that worked for me. And from there, I got a job at the state of Georgia Department of Audits and Accounts, where I went into financial auditing and quickly got tired of crunching numbers. As much as numbers made sense, I just got tired of crunching them on a daily basis. So they were actually hiring upstairs about a year and a half into my tenure as a financial auditor, and upstairs was cybersecurity. And so on a whim, I applied and talked to a couple of people there, and they let me interview. And they said, even though you don't have experience, as long as you're willing to learn, we can teach you. And they hired me. So I started out cybersecurity about, almost 20 years ago, which is crazy. Yeah.
Crazy. And yes. This is, I think, really incredible that you said, like, I didn't have any experience, but I still applied. And they gave you a chance to prove yourself, which is incredible.
They did. Yes. And I'm very thankful to them today. Obviously, I wouldn't be where I'm at if they hadn't given me that opportunity. I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah, but you also were, was applying, which a lot of women don't, right? I mean, a lot of women just refrain from doing something like that because I don't have experience.
Exactly. Especially in the cybersecurity and IT world. I think a lot of women are a little afraid or intimidated to kind of take that step. Sometimes that's all it is. It's just a step. It's just sending an email, sending an application and attempting. And you might not make it the first time, but you might make it on the fourth or fifth time. It just takes perseverance.
Yeah. Okay. And you got into cyber and continue, please.
Yeah. So I continued with the state for a while I learned all the basics of cybersecurity, auditing, and compliance. And then I went into the industry because the industry was changing and there were different standards coming out. And I knew I wanted some experience to kind of round out what I had already learned at the state. So I worked for some organizations like Equifax, ChoicePoint, which is now LexisNexis. I worked for Cox Communications. I'm just gaining experience in information security and all the different standards that are out there and how to apply those to the organizations. So got some great industry experience, and then I decided I want some more experience, and I went and learned how to do cybersecurity auditing, where I was on the outside and helping many customers, figure out how to apply the compliance standards and testing them against that.
And you learned it like on the job, or you went to some training? How did you go about that?
A combination. So by then I went back and got my master's in accounting information systems assurance, which had a kind of a twist on information systems and information security. I went through some trainings. I got a couple of certifications, but a lot of it was on the job training as well.
Okay. Yeah, sure. And how did that lead you to where you are today?
Yeah, so about 8 years ago, I was working in cybersecurity auditing and kind of wanted to start my own business. So I went out and did some independent contracts, helping customers again with the new standard that came out and just helping them apply it. And from there, I've been working with clients, helping them understand the cybersecurity standards that they might have to comply with, mostly small to medium-sized businesses. And I work them through technical documentations, gap assessments, and just try to take that cybersecurity language that they might not understand and make it more understandable for them so they're comfortable in helping them through the process.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Kind of, this is a very, I think, like cybersecurity is very, very male dominated field. So how is it like being a woman in that field and also a businesswoman?
It's tough some days, I'll be honest. Especially when I first started, I was mostly the only female in the room, or there was only one other female with me. And so it got to a point where I just had to show my presence. I had to speak up. I had to learn how to be more forthright in what I wanted or what I needed and to try to get my point across. So it's been interesting. It's been a learning experience for sure. And that's why I want to help other women in the same kind of area where I'm at, where they might feel overwhelmed being in a male dominated industry, of kind of helping them guide them and helping them find their place in the industry as well.
Cool. So what specifically do you help them with? Which kind of women and how do you help them?
Yeah, so I help a lot of women in cybersecurity. I do some mentoring through a Women in Cybersecurity organization. So I have a group of mentees that we meet on a monthly basis and kind of talk through different topics. I kind of feel where they're struggling, and we talk through how I can help them or the other members on the team can help them as well. A lot of them are new in cybersecurity, so they're trying to learn and find their place in the world. And then I've had other women just reach out to me directly that I've worked with in the past, and they're just kind of stuck and don't know how to move forward. So I try to offer them guidance as well.
Yeah. Do you see any commonalities in the challenges that those women face?
I think it's trying to find their place and trying to find their voice in the world where everything is like feeding into you and there's so much information and it's hard to stand out, especially in the male dominated industry, So it's trying to help them push themselves a little bit more, find what they enjoy and what they're good at, and trying to gently push them in that direction where they're comfortable.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah. So how do you kind of suggest women to stand out? I mean, I know it's very challenging, especially when you feel like you're a minority or you're not like everyone else, especially if you're introverted and you're not like very outspoken. Do you have any tips?
It's hard because that's who I am. I am like introverted. I don't like to speak out, but it really has been trying to find my voice and trying to speak up and push my boundaries outside of what I'm comfortable doing. And that's what I tell others too. It's like, you have to speak up, you have to be noticed. And some of it is additional social media. It's additional LinkedIn posts. It's, showing your brand, showing your identity out there for others to see and pushing yourself outside that comfort zone.
Yeah, I think that growth doesn't happen if you stay in your comfort zone for sure. So
yes, agreed, but it's challenging.
Yeah. So if women are interested in that field, I mean, in cyber, how do you recommend them to explore that and get into that field?
Sure. So there's a lot of different ways, these days. It's such a growing field and there's always a need for somebody in cybersecurity. So I recommend doing a lot of research because there's cybersecurity in the technical side where you're actually configuring stuff, you're hands-on, you're managing firewalls, etc. Or you can be more on the compliance and auditing side like myself, where you're not as much hands-on, but you're helping customers with documentation and reading the standard and helping them kind of implement. So more on the advisory consulting side. So kind of do some research, figure out what would make you comfortable. And then there are tons of free trainings out there that people can go to. There's a lot of LinkedIn groups, there's Reddit threads, do a lot of reading. And then there's also a lot of classes now at your community college, at other colleges. And I recommend taking some of those classes initially and seeing if it's something that, might interest somebody. And if it is, then pursue it. And hopefully you'll find a new home and a great place and enjoy the learning process.
For sure. It's eventually it's about experimenting and seeing whether this is something that interests you.
Yes. Like I said, there's so many facets to cybersecurity. I tell a couple of the ladies I work with and mentor, trying to find that niche that makes you comfortable and you enjoy. Cybersecurity is always changing. There's always challenges. It's always a learning experience. So if you're a person that loves learning, cybersecurity is definitely a place for you because the environment and everything related to cybersecurity is changing every day. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
It is. So how do you keep up?
You asked lots of questions today. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of making sure you're on the right newsletters. It's listening to podcasts, figuring out what's new. And again, once you kind of figure out your niche, you can kind of focus on the changes in that area. But until then, it's a lot. You have to narrow your focus.
Yeah. And I think, for me, what helps is like finding influencers that like expert in the area and following them. So either, like you said, a podcast or a newsletter, or maybe someone on LinkedIn or other platforms, and just following them. And that's how kind of you keep up to date. Like I really follow influencers on generative AI because this is something that interests me. And it's like, yeah, if you follow those people and you get their emails or whatever, you learn about new things.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's a great way. And there's so many people on LinkedIn and other platforms, like you said, want to be a thought leader, and it's important to find those. And once you kind of get a feel for it, you can start being your own thought leader as well. Putting yourself out there as a thought leader in whatever your niche is.
Yes. And this is something, Lori, I see a lot of women feel uncomfortable with, to put themselves out there and to share publicly.
Yes. Yeah. I have to laugh at that because we're changing my marketing strategy. And one of the things that my marketing people are telling me is I have to do videos now for LinkedIn. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do videos. Don't make me do that. But they're like, it's the way of the world. It's the way of marketing right now. So you have to. So yeah, so it's even going to be interesting for me to try to do those. But again, kind of like we said earlier, you have to push yourself out of the comfort zone these days in order to change, to grow, and to prove yourself, not only to yourself, but to others as well.
For sure. Yes. At the beginning, it may seem a little bit uncomfortable, but when you do it several times, eventually it becomes natural, I would say.
Agreed. Yeah. It does take a while, like you said, but I think once you do it, practice makes perfect, they say.
Yeah.
Or my other motto is fake it till you make it.
Yeah. I feel like, maybe some women don't think that they have what to share. And this is something like I always tell the women I coach, like you definitely have things to share and you have a voice that should be heard. Any insights on that? Like how do you influence someone to realize that they actually have something to share that's worth sharing?
Definitely. I think everybody has a story. Everybody's life is different. Everybody has different experiences. They view the world in a different way. And I think it's very important for everyone to share their own story and their own point of view, because that's how others learn. They're not going to learn if everyone has the same opinion on everything. It's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different opinion. And it's important to get those out there. Again, the world would be boring if everyone was the same. So it's important to know it is okay. You are valued, and it might not always feel safe, but you'll feel safer as you do it.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, video seems like to be a thing now, right? On all platforms.
Yes, even LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn was like the last one, but now it's definitely coming. And I'm like, oh, don't make me. But it'll be good.
Yeah, I just had a client call last week, and she was like dreading videos, like, oh my God, I cannot do a video. I said, okay, maybe we'll start with text, write a post first.
Exactly. Yes. And the videos don't have to be long. They're like just 30 seconds is fine. Just start small and, just keep cranking them out. But something with the algorithm and people seeing your face and hearing your voice know it's true.
Yeah.
versus sometimes text might come off as AI generated or standard language. But when you see a person's face and emotions, I think it resonates a little bit. So I can see the importance. I'll still be dragging my feet a little bit though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm not doing videos as I should. I mean, I do some, but not enough. Obviously, in the
Yeah.
podcast, but not enough.
Yes.
But I think, yes, people want to feel like they connect with you, like you're a real
Mhm.
person. And
Agree.
that really helps. And I think the short videos are the ones that are getting the most traction because people don't have a patience to.
Exactly. People don't have the attention span these days to watch long videos. So they don't. They watch the 30-second videos, and if they like it, they'll click and watch another one. So but yeah, I think it's important, this day and age to feel that connection because everyone's so remote now. Ever since COVID, people are working from home all the time and you're not having that face-to-face connection in those face-to-face meetings, especially in my industry where I used to be on site all the time. And so video is important in making those connections. I think you're right there.
So in your company, you work mostly remote?
Right now, yes. Yes. Me and my team are all remote, and then most of the clients we work with are done remotely. So it's all done through video calls, phone calls, emails, etc. So it's definitely changed over the last 5 years.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I started working remote in 2016 when it was like considered very unusual.
Right.
But now it seems like it's becoming more of a normal, although many companies are going back to offices. So how do you keep kind of your team connected and feeling like a sense of, I don't know, belonging and communicating with each other?
Yeah, definitely. We have Slack. So we use Slack for all our communication, which is tied to our project management system. And then we have weekly meetings with the team just so we can catch up verbally on video calls. And again, it's a lot of me just making sure I'm communicating with the team on a regular basis through Slack, through quick calls, and just working with them and telling them they can reach out when they need to have a call or a meeting with me on top of the weekly calls and weekly meetings. So it's more challenging, but it's doable. It's just a matter of, again, putting yourself out there and making sure it's done for your team so they're comfortable.
Definitely. And I think that at least I felt that when you work remote, sometimes you need to over communicate just to make sure that
Yes.
people are okay and they feel comfortable because you don't see them. You don't know how they woke up in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're just slacking them, you're not catching the inflections of their voice or not catching the tone. So you don't know if they're feeling okay or not. So like you
Yeah.
said, it is over communicating and being like, are you okay? How are you today? Really? Tell me. So it's definitely over communicating. And it's, you expect honest responses too from your team. You would hope they would tell you if something's wrong or something's bothering them because again, they're not here. So you can't see if they're having a bad day. So you rely on them to tell you as well.
For sure. I wanted to ask you, kind of, if you're a woman and you're working as an employee, how do you think women can assess whether like going to be a consultant or starting their business is the right thing for you, based on your experience?
I did it myself for various reasons. One, honestly, was just health reasons. I was having a lot of health issues at the time. So I needed to be able to manage my own hours. But I also took a lot of advice from my coworkers and my boss at the time and talked to several other people about kind of what it would look like. And also, when I did it, I had a sure contract to walk into. I just didn't start from scratch, which would be really tough, I think. I left a full time job and went to a contract that was almost full time, but it was under my name. So I definitely say get advice from people. I am talking to a lot of people these days who are starting their own business and it's been something in the works for a while. So it's just a matter of talking to people, figuring out whether it's the right time. It sounds great. It sounds great not having your own manager, but it is also stressful at times because you do have to do it all. You are the salesperson, you are the marketing person, you are the admin, you are the person doing the work for quite a while until you're able to hire some of that out. So it's a lot, but it's also a great and valuable experience that I've loved doing over the last 8 years.
For sure. And for you, it was like, seems like what worked for you. You had like a big client, so you kind of started.
Yes.
That makes
Yes.
total sense.
Yes. And like I said, it worked out pretty nicely for me. It was time to move on. I was, again, having those health issues and I needed to scale my hours back. And so it worked where I could walk away from a full time job into a contract. But since then, I've had to kind of bootstrap my way through and figure out the clients and stuff like that. So tell people have a plan in place, have some backup money if possible in place, because you don't know what the first several months are going to be unless you have a for certain contract that you know you're going to be walking into and is solid for a while.
Yeah, definitely. There is less predictability than getting a paycheck. So
yes,
you have to take that
definitely.
into account.
Yes, for sure. And don't put all your eggs in one basket. I learned that the hard way as well as a business owner. I put most of my eggs in one basket of a contract. Contract ended without much notice, and then I was left scrambling again. So try to have several sources of revenue or income if you can, just to kind of protect yourself.
That is a great advice. Yeah.
I learned the hard way, so I try to tell others. Learn from my mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else you want to share that maybe I haven't asked?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, just running my own business for the eight last prior years, it's been a challenge, like I said. But if people love cybersecurity and they love to learn, or they don't know about cybersecurity and just love learning in general, I think it's a great place to go. Like I said, there's plenty of different aspects to it. And it's just trying to find your niche and find your voice in this world. And if people have questions, I'm happy to answer them in cybersecurity or running your own business or anything.
Perfect. So how can our listeners find you?
Sure. So my website is cadra.com, which is CADRA.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Lori Crooks. Also, you'll find Cadra on LinkedIn as well, or you can shoot me an email. My email's on the website as well. So love connecting with people. I love talking to people. That interview in me is sometimes extroverted. So if you catch me on a good day, I might chat your ear off. You'll never know.
Yeah, and it's a muscle to practice. First of all, I'll put all the links, and it's a muscle to practice, right? To put yourself out there and talk to people. By the way, any recommendations for any security related, like conferences or anything that you think can give you some wider perspective if you're considering this space?
Yeah, so AWS, Amazon Web Services, has 2 big conferences a year. One in Philadelphia, I think it's in June. It's called Reinforce. That's more around the cybersecurity framework.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have one in Vegas, which is humongous. It's more of the technical side. But also there are so many local chapters. ISACA is one that has local chapters all over the country. ISC Squared is another one that has local chapters. So I recommend going to the meetings, finding people to talk to. And a lot of them have small conferences right there in your own city and state, which might be a great place to learn as well.
Yeah, because it's always good to connect to people and learn from other people and also build your network, right? I mean, if you're trying to get into a space, it's really important to start getting to know people.
It is. I tell people it's always who you know, not what you know. Most of my work has come from connections that I've made at conferences or people I've known in the past, and they're starting their own job or they're in a new position and now they need assistance from me. So it really is building that network of people that you follow up with on a regular basis, you touch point on a regular basis, and just remind them that you're here and that if they need anything that you can help them, and just connect with people. At the end of the day, it's going back to the connection we had earlier. It's connecting with people, making them feel comfortable, and just talking to them as a human. And I think they really appreciate that a lot of times.
For sure. And it also helps with training the muscle of getting yourself out there. I mean, I always dread conferences, to be honest with you.
Same.
Especially the big ones. But once in a while. Once in a while, I force myself.
Definitely. I have before said, I will only go to this conference if I know a person. And so I found a conference buddy for a while and we went to the conferences together. And that always helps too. You don't feel as alone. There's somebody that you know that you're taking with you or there. And that helps as well. So they can maybe help you network a little bit more. But again, you're not alone in it. You're not the only one scared or nervous. Again, I've come a long ways in the 20 years since I started this, but it's still a stretch some days.
Yeah, for me, it's still a stretch and I think it's okay. I mean, I realize that that's who I am and that's not where I feel the most comfortable.
Yes.
But it's okay as long as it doesn't stop me.
Yes.
Well, Lori, it's been wonderful talking with you today. Thank you so much for all the things you shared. And I'll make sure to post your links. And
thank you so much for allowing me to come on and share my story. And I hope it, touched somebody out there today. And I've enjoyed talking with you. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for listening to the episode with Lori. And before you go, I just want to share with you next week's episode is one that definitely you don't want to miss. And next week, I'm speaking with Elena Levy. She's a director of product at Voyantis, and she went from not knowing what high-tech even meant to leading AI-powered product innovation at a company that just raised $41 million. And we talk about a very big question. Do you really need a degree to make it in tech? And Elena shares her nonlinear path, how she fell in love with data, and the practical steps she took to move from analyst to product leader, all while raising 2 young kids. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to From a Woman to a Leader. Leave a review if you're loving the show. And please share this podcast with any woman in tech who needs to hear it. And stay tuned to From a Woman to a Leader as we release an episode every Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening and see you next week. Bye.